Chosen one, stop. Not slowly, not casually, not in a minute. Stop right now, before your eyes move any further, before the noise around you pulls you back into its current. I need you to do one thing. Take a breath, not a shallow one. A real breath, the kind that starts in your chest and moves all the way down into your stomach. Hold it for just a second and release it slowly. Do you feel that? Something shifted, something quieted. Not because the world around you changed, but because, for one brief moment, you let it go. That was not a coincidence. That was not a random biological function. That was the beginning of what God has been trying to do in you for weeks now. He has been waiting for a gap in the noise. He has been looking for a crack in the busyness. And this moment, right here, right now, is the gap he has been waiting for. This message is not ordinary. This is not content you stumbled across by accident. You were led here. And what follows is going to speak directly to the part of you that has been carrying something very heavy, very quietly, for a very long time. God said, "Watch this alone," and there is a reason for that instruction, because what he is about to speak is not for a crowd. It is not for a timeline. It is for the private version of you, the version that nobody fully sees, the version that shows up every morning, holds everything together, keeps moving forward, and rarely, if ever, lets anyone see just how tired it actually is. If that sentence landed somewhere real inside you, pause right there and let it. Drop a word in the comments right now, any word at all. Just let heaven know you are here and you are listening. Chosen one. God does not isolate people randomly. He separates them strategically. When a message is too delicate to survive interruption, it is whispered. When a moment is too sacred to withstand spectacle, it is made small and private. When a person is in the middle of a transformation that cannot afford to be contaminated, they are set apart. That is what is happening to you right now. Not just in this moment, but in this entire season of your life. There is a separation happening. You can feel it. The things that used to pull at your attention no longer hold the same grip. The environments that once felt comfortable now feel slightly foreign. The conversations you used to step into easily now feel like they cost you something, and you have been trying to figure out what that means. Some days it feels like growth. Other days it honestly feels like loneliness. And if you have ever sat with that feeling and wondered whether something is wrong with you, I need you to hear this clearly. Nothing is wrong with you. You are in formation. And formation, by its very nature, requires separation from what you are leaving behind. Think about how a bone heals after it breaks. It cannot be touched. It cannot bear weight. It cannot be rushed. The body builds new material in the fracture, and that new material is actually stronger than the original bone, but only if it is protected during the process. That is you right now. You are not broken. You are becoming structurally stronger in the exact places where you were once most vulnerable. Chosen one, I want to name something you have been experiencing lately. Someone, or maybe more than one person, has been pressing on something in you. Not loudly, not aggressively, just persistently. Little reminders of who you used to be. Little references to wounds that have almost finished healing. Subtle invitations to prove yourself, explain yourself, or defend yourself. And every time it happens, you have felt something rise up inside you, a familiar tension. An old heat, a pull toward a version of yourself that you thought you were moving past. That is not an accident. The enemy does not announce himself. He operates through repetition and familiarity. He uses people and patterns, that already have a history with your nervous system. He knows which buttons still have a response in you, even the ones you have been working hard to deactivate, and he will keep pressing them, not because he is powerful, but because he is strategic. He knows that the most effective way to interrupt a transformation is not to destroy the person going through it. It is to provoke them into reacting from the old self before the new self has fully stabilized. So let me ask you something gently. How many times in the last few weeks have you almost reacted and then stopped yourself? How many times have you typed something out and deleted it? How many times have you started a conversation in your head and then decided it was not worth it? Those were not moments of weakness. Those were moments of discernment, operating at a level of maturity that would have been impossible for you even a year ago. Every time you chose not to react, something was protected. A door stayed closed. A cycle was interrupted. A trap fell apart. If that is resonating with you, hit the like button right now. Not just to support this content, but as a quiet acknowledgement between you and heaven that you recognize what has been happening. Chosen one, there is something God wants to address that goes beyond the external provocation. There is something happening internally, in the quiet spaces of your own mind and heart, that He wants you to stop being ashamed of. You have been grieving something, and you might not even have the right word for what it is. It is not necessarily a person. It might not even be a specific event. It is more like a version of something. A version of a relationship you wanted so badly to be different. A version of a situation you kept believing could turn around. And because you have always been the one who holds things together, because there has never really been a safe enough space to fall apart, you have been carrying this grief like a secret, managing it, continuing to function. While something tender inside you has been quietly aching, God sees that. He is not asking you to perform strength right now. He is not watching to see if you can hold it together for 5 more minutes. What He is asking of you is far simpler and far harder than that. He is asking you to stop pretending that everything you have walked through has not left a mark. He is asking you to let the part of you that is tired actually rest in His presence, instead of just pushing through to the next thing. Because here is what happens when you keep pushing without resting. The grief does not disappear. It transforms. It becomes cynicism. It becomes emotional distance. It becomes a low-level bitterness you cannot quite explain. And God is not willing to let that happen to you. Not in this season, not when you are this close to the thing He has been preparing for you. Chosen one, I need to talk to you about silence. Because silence has been following you lately, and I do not think you fully understand yet what it is doing in your life. You have noticed that you do not have as much to say as you used to. Not because you have become passive, not because you are giving up, but because something in you has started recognizing the difference between words that build and words that simply release pressure in the moment without changing anything. You have started measuring the cost of speaking versus the cost of staying quiet. And more often than not lately, the cost of speaking has not been worth what it would accomplish. That is wisdom. That is not withdrawal. That is the development of a spiritual filter that God is installing in you, because what is coming next requires you to be someone who speaks with intention rather than someone who reacts with volume. He is calibrating your voice. He is slowing down the impulse between thought and expression. He is creating space between what you feel and what you say, so that when you do speak, it lands differently. It carries something. It does not just fill air. It changes the temperature of a room. If this message is speaking to something you have been sensing but could not articulate, share this with someone who needs to hear it. Someone who has been in their own season of quiet. Someone who has been misreading their silence as defeat. This might be exactly the confirmation they have been waiting for. Chosen one, God has something very specific to say about the relational landscape you are navigating right now. There are people around you who were assigned to a version of you that no longer exists. They were comfortable with the version that was smaller, less secure, more easily influenced. Your need for approval gave them leverage. Your fear of confrontation made you manageable, and they built their relationship with you around those dynamics, not necessarily out of malice, but because that was the version of you they knew. And now you are changing. Your peace unsettles their expectation of your anxiety. Your silence disrupts their experience of your reactivity. Your boundaries introduce friction where there used to be ease. But chosen one, you cannot resurrect what God buried to make someone else comfortable. You cannot go back into a version of yourself that you have genuinely outgrown just to reduce the tension in a room. That is not compassion. That is self-betrayal. God is not asking you to become cold. He is asking you to stop managing other people's comfort at the expense of your own becoming. He is asking you to trust that the relationships meant to survive your growth will survive it. The ones that required the smaller version of you to function were never meant to be permanent structures in your life. They were classrooms, and you have graduated. Chosen one, you have been waiting for something. Not impatiently, not with anxious demanding, but with a quiet, deep, sustained hope that sometimes feels indistinguishable from uncertainty. You have been waiting for confirmation, for the thing you have been believing for to finally show up in a form you can point to. For the effort you have been putting in quietly and faithfully, often without recognition, to accumulate into something visible. I want to say something to you directly. God has not forgotten about what you asked him for. He has not moved on. What looks like silence from his end is not silence. It is construction. The architecture of what he is building in your life requires foundations that are not visible while they are being laid. You do not see the concrete being poured. You do not see the structural work happening beneath the surface. But the building is going up. And the reason it has taken longer than you expected is not because something went wrong. It is because what God is building for you is larger than the version you originally imagined. And larger structures require deeper foundations. Let that replace the narrative of delay with the narrative of depth, because that is the truth of what is actually happening in your life right now. There is a clarity coming that will make decisions feel simple in a way they have not in a long time. There is a relational shift coming where some people step forward with more depth and some fall back quietly, and both movements are alignment, not rejection. There is an assignment coming that will feel both bigger than you and exactly right for you at the same time. And there is a rest coming. Not the absence of activity, but the internal kind that means you stop fighting yourself and start functioning from peace rather than survival. If you feel it, if something in your spirit is responding to what is being said here, subscribe right now. Not because you will miss out if you do not, but because this is a space where God has been consistently showing up. And if this message found you at the right moment, the next one might arrive at exactly the moment you need it most. Chosen one, before you step back into the flow of your day, I want to give you something to carry with you. Not a to-do list, not a formula, just a few words to return to when the noise gets loud again. Your silence is not weakness. It is architecture. Every time you chose not to react from a wounded place, you were laying a stone in something being built to last. Foundations do not get credit until the building stands, but the building is standing. Your patience is not passive, to remain present, grounded, and believing in a season that has given you every reason to give up is not waiting, that is warring. And you have been winning battles that nobody has seen, in a theater that most people do not even know exists. Your sensitivity is not a liability. The same depth that has caused you pain is the exact capacity that will make you effective in what God has called you to. Do not numb it. Let God teach you how to hold it with the stability it deserves, and trust the process you are inside of. Not blindly, not by pretending you have clarity you do not have, but trust it the way you trust a bridge. You do not need to understand the engineering to cross it. You just need to keep walking. God is not done with your story. This chapter that has felt heavy and quiet and in between is not the end. It is the deep breath before the next movement. And the next movement is going to be worth every difficult, uncertain character-building moment of this one. If this message spoke to something real in you today, leave a comment. It does not have to be long. It can be one word. Let heaven see that you were here, that you heard, and that you are still standing. And if someone came to your heart while reading this, someone who is carrying something too heavy and too quietly, share this with them. You may not know exactly what they are going through, but something in you knows they need this. Trust that. Your next season is sacred. Your next assignment is significant. Your next level is already built and waiting for you to arrive. Stay close, chosen one. Heaven is not done speaking yet.